Hi guys, Paint Girly here. It's a very muggy day here in South Jersey. And I decided this morning to get a boil started. So I wanted to get that going because that can boil for a couple of hours while I do some other things. So I thought, well, let me just record and we'll see how it goes. I might end up editing this video if it gets a little too long, but I'm just going to stack some paper and put my flowers in between the layers. And I'm going to do it a little different than I have in the past. And I've got a few different things I'm going to try. I have my Vitek here, which is a purple flower. It's a very woody stem, but it has some nice leaves. And I've got some yellow and orange and dark orange cosmos. Of course, they're kind of falling apart. I didn't pop them in water. I'm going to try some spinach leaves. I'm not sure if that'll give me any color, but I'm going to try that. And then my husband's orchid plants have been dropping some flowers, so I thought I might try those as well. Now, I did do some of the Cosmos and Vitex the other day, and they turned out beautiful. And I didn't record that, so I thought I'd go ahead and record this one. And then I've got a couple other little tricks up my sleeve that I'm going to try, so we'll just see how all that works out. So, in hindsight, what I have learned and what I think would work better for me, hoping I don't have an avalanche here. So I'm putting down a piece of muslin that I use to bundle up my paper boils. And I'm going to use, to start, some 32-pound, this is incorrect, some 24-pound, just plain white copier paper. Now, in the past, I've folded this in half and I've made 2 bundles that I can lay in my roasting pan. But I'm going to leave it out flat, and I'm going to try to think about designing it on this landscape-wise, because then if I put it in a journal, I can fold it this way. But I'm not going to make that fold line. That seems to weaken the paper. Excuse me. As soon as I record, my throat gets a little crazy. So I'm going to be doing some things upside down and then right side up, stack my paper, and then I'm going to try a few little odd things as well. So I'm going to take my Vitek first. My poor Cosmos, they are falling apart. And I'm just going to pull these apart, basically. They smell a little funky once you get in here and start pulling things apart. That's okay. I got some really nice color out of these the other day. So I'm going to try to work to my left and to my right, not so much in the middle, although it really doesn't matter, I don't think. And I'm trying to be a little more selective as far as what I put down and maybe not use so many flowers and petals on one sheet of paper. So more of a minimal kind of a look. Because the boil that I did the other day, while my colors were terrific, in fact, let me see if I have one of those sheets right handy. And I didn't layer in between on my last boil either, but now that these aren't folded, let me see if I can find for you. This blue color that I got was from the Vitex. That's what I'm putting down now. And then my Cosmos. You can see this one pretty well. This is the print that I got from those. See how I folded the paper? But see, on these you can really see the flower impression. So I'm going to try that again. But I'm going to try to stack all my ViTech in this area, this first layered batch. And keep all the blue maybe together and then start adding in the orange. These are pretty big flowers. And then I'll have to trim off my ends before I bundle so I can wrap it. But I don't want to overcrowd my page because that's what I did the last time. See, I just feel like this, I really overcrowded my page. Or it might be nicer if something was just clustered down in one of the corners. So that's what I'm going for this time. And I don't want everything towards the ends either, because then it'll be hard to stack my paper. Now I did try squashing some of this stuff, putting it through my Big Shot, but no matter how I've done it a couple of times, and no matter what I did, it just really looked like roadkill. So I really kind of am really hooked on this paper boil thing. So now when I put down my next layer of paper, I want to come from this part up. And maybe I'll just do leaves on this one. Now this little particular sprig doesn't have much in the way of color that's bloomed, but perhaps I'll still get some color out of that. I should probably trim these as I go. ViTech is really a very heavy woody stem, especially towards the bottom. And then I have some coffee dyed salted paper that I made a while ago. And I'm just wondering, which I think is really cool, and I probably shouldn't use all this, although I can make more. I'm just wondering how this might turn out if I boiled on top of it. There's a little spider. I don't have that many sheets of that paper, so I don't want to use it all. Now I want to do a combo of some of my ViTechs and introduce my Cosmos. And just add a few of these in. A couple different colors. Next year, we're going to plant more Cosmos in a variety of colors. My husband just picked out the oranges and the yellows this year. Well, we didn't know. My boil the other day, I did some zinnia and I did some marigold. And really, the only thing that gave me any color was the Vitex and the Cosmos. Now the Vitex, gosh, it was years ago because my dad was still with us and we had visited my cousin. She lives up around the Hampton area, upstate New York. And I had admired these purple plants that were all around the area where she lived. And we came home one day from doing something fun, and there was one sitting on her back porch for me. So I was thrilled, and we brought it home. At the time, we lived in Pennsylvania, and this plant got bigger than the house, taller than the house. It was unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to pop my orchids in here. But then when we moved to New Jersey, the plant was so large at that point we couldn't move it. So I was able to get another Vitex when I had visited Massachusetts, I think. So I was thrilled I got another one. And this one too, it's taller than the roof. You know, like it goes past where your gutters are. I mean, it's not as tall as a tree, but it's grown up past the gutters. All right, so let's see. Let me put my spinach leaves here. So I'm thinking those orchids really aren't going to give me too much color. So let's tuck in a few spinach leaves. I thought I had some 32-pound paper. Oh, there's some. Oh, shoot. I knew I had some. I just couldn't remember where I put it. So we'll just go ahead and use the 24. I don't like to squish it down too much because then I tend to tear the paper. Now here's some darker orchids and some orchids really that have kind of seen better days. Let me pile them down here. I think I'm losing track of what corner I'm working in. Now I'm hoping I have enough flowers here to do a batch because it is so hot and steamy out. I really don't want to go out and pick more flowers. So I'm just layering and I'm just putting down what I think might look nice if I get an imprint or print from these pretty little flowers. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in the marigold because they're so bright, and really didn't get any color out of those. I mean, the water just got kind of yellowish, you know. Like you can just see the background here. It's just, this was bright white paper, so it just kind of took on a little muted yellowy kind of a color. This is really, really large. Now, I have this little stencil. Most of my stencils are really dirty and covered with paint. And I have no idea where I got these little discs, but this one looked more like a pattern. So I am going to, I think, put that here and layer some flowers on top and just see if we get anything different. Color-wise. See if that makes any kind of an imprint. I didn't want to put in, I mean, some of my other stencils might have a better pattern, but I didn't want any paint or anything to maybe change the composition of the water, make the pages different. Same with book pages. I would like to put some, I'm going to have to do maybe a boil just with book pages, because I don't know if the ink will come off and then make the water, you know, kind of black and then mess up my dye colors. So these little guys, I'm going to just make it kind of look like wildflowers, I think, across the bottom. So I really kind of have the three different colors. I've got a real dark orange, the yellow. That guy looks like he's seen better days, huh? That should be enough. This is going to be a small boil because I thought I had a ton of flowers, but really it's not that many. I'm going to use all these little bits. And maybe I'll just put some leaves on this side. And of course I can cut these papers too and use them for tip outs or lots of different things. Let's put another spinach leaf. And this is a piece of Vitex. We've got a few little crumblies here. A few little pieces. I'm going to use those up. And I've got another orchid here. Some more spinach. The spinach, I don't know, it's liable to turn the whole thing. I would think that spinach would be a very strong color, but we'll see. Oh, you know what? I want to put another layer. I want to put another piece of unsalted coffee paper. Because I want to put some of the orange flowers on this. Some of the yellow. Now, years ago, a couple years ago anyway, I watched a gal, and I don't remember her name. It's the first time I'd seen anything like this. And she used like a chicken wire kind of a screen and pressed all her things down and bundled them that way. But that was just kind of undoable for me. So then I came up with using either cheesecloth or a piece of muslin, and that's been working pretty well. Actually, the cheesecloth wasn't super great because the one bundle I didn't put it thick enough, and then when I picked up the paper, it was so wet, and the cheesecloth didn't have enough body because I didn't wrap it enough. And that I kind of ruined several sheets of paper that way. So the piece of muslin is working pretty well for me so far. And I was thinking about, see, I have some loose little petals here. I might try to rearrange some of those. See, this little guy's falling apart. And maybe make some little petals lay in a certain position and kind of see if I can get them to look like butterflies. So my husband planted me these wildflowers, and they're just growing really like weeds. They look fantastic. And I don't know why this kind of stuff intrigues me and interests me so, but I'll tell you what. There's a gal by the name of Rosemary Morris. She does all these things. That's her YouTube channel, and she's very clever and has lots of really cool ideas. And she does this kind of stuff. And she recommends that if you let your boil sit overnight, the color will intensify on your paper. But I got to tell you, I guess maybe once I do this a couple hundred times, that would work for me. But I cannot wait to unwrap this stinking bundle. I mean, I just get so excited that I can't wait. It's almost better than Christmas. So after this is done, oh, my fan is on, and I just tossed that guy out of whack. So after this is done, now my last batch, because I kind of forgot it, cooked about 2 hours. I don't know that I need to cook it that long. This I may only do about an hour and a half. And then once that cools, I'm going to unwrap it. Now we're coming down the home stretch here with flowers I have available to me today. I'll pick out all my little pieces. And this one I'm going to do a little abstract dump, if you will. Sorry, I think I'm hitting the camera. Dumping out my petals. Pulling all these little guys off. He might look cute. Got these little tiny bugs. I hope they're not chiggers. We have chiggers in New Jersey. My husband got bit a couple of years ago, and oh my goodness, he looked like he had leprosy. I mean, obviously he was allergic, but even still, it was terrible, just terrible. It was painful. All right, I'm trying to gather up all these petals. Kind of make a crazy design here. I'm not going to mess around with the petals doing a specific shape. Let me just dump them on there. Now look at this flower, right? Oh, they're just so pretty. So I should have counted out my sheets of paper so I know what I have going here, but I didn't. I just have a few more left. A couple more sheets. And I'll save that guy. 3 more. Now, when I did it the other day, I stacked my paper and thought, oh, I was silly. I should have put my muslin underneath first. So a little smarter this time. Got my muslin already under and ready to roll. Literally roll. All right. And I'm going to put a final sheet on top. And I just use a piece of string or twine. And I don't know where I threw that, of course. There we go. I'll have to pick some more of this up. So I'm just going to take my muslin. Oh, let me trim off some of my, I'm going to trim off some of my stems. Give this a little bit of a haircut. And once I get this bundled and tied up, I put a little rack down in the bottom of my pan so that my bundle is not laying right on the hot surface of the pan. I'm not sure if that matters. It's just the way that I do it. And I try to wrap it fairly tight. And then I'm going to cut these so I can pull my muslin up as tight as I can. I don't want to cut my muslin, that's for sure. It's one of those Vitech. So once I put my rack down in the bottom of my pan, I'll lay my bundle on top. I'll fill it with cold water till it covers my bundle. And I don't want to pull it too tight because I don't want to bend my paper. Now this is a little different because, like I said, I'm leaving my paper out flat rather than folding it in half. So I'm just going to bring this over and snug this in. Now, some videos that I've watched, the gals have put rusty things in their water, and that may work, but I want to see just what color I get from my flowers, not so much from my rusty bits I might put in. So I'm just going to take, and I'm not going to tie it, super loose, but I'm going to tie it where I am not crunching my paper. At least that's the plan. So I'm going to put my first piece underneath. And then I just start wrapping it till I think I have it secure. No rhyme or reason, really. And then once I get this covered with cold water, I don't know if it makes a difference, but I start with cold. I put in a cup of white vinegar because the different videos that I watch, that's what they recommend. And this should be okay, really. So I will boil this for about an hour and a half. Oh, my timing is perfect. Of course, name unavailable.
Call from Unavailable. Call from Unavailable.
All right, so there's my bundle. So I'm going to go ahead, put this in my roasting pan. I'll put that across 2 burners of my stove. I'm going to leave it open, and I have a big open kitchen, so that's not a problem. You don't want to do it in a real closed area. And then I will put my cup of vinegar in. I will bring it to a boil and then back the heat down a little bit so that it just boils gently for about an hour and a half. And then once it cools and I drain off all the water and it cools to where I can touch it, I'll come back on and record the second part. Now, I don't know that I'll be able to splice my videos together, so it might be 2 different videos because I'm just not savvy on those kinds of things. And then I'll have my reveal. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the reveal video of my flour eco boil prints. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.